Welcome back. It's time now for a check of the international press, and I'm joined by Deeptika Laurent. Hi there, Deepti.
Hi, Tom.
Let's start, shall we, in Indonesia, because the government there has made this announcement. They're relocating the capital.
That's right. You might wonder, how on earth do you relocate an entire capital? Well, Indonesia is planning to do that. It's a mammoth $33 billion project that'll take several years, as you can imagine, beginning into the 2020s. President Joko Widodo, a.k.a. Jokowi as he's known, has announced that the new capital city will be located in East Kalimantan. It's a jungle-covered area on the island of Borneo. For the first time since independence, Indonesia will be moving its capital from Jakarta to Borneo. It'll actually be moving its capital for the first time altogether, even though Jakarta will be remaining the business capital, but they are looking to make a new political capital and essentially unburden Jakarta in terms of traffic, pollution, population, and water supply.
Okay, and that Jakarta Post article doesn't really elaborate on the whole sort of environmental dimension to this decision.
That's right, and that's something that a lot of the foreign papers are picking up on, Tom. It's something that the Washington Post has been looking at. Jakarta is simply sinking. Illegal use of groundwater has weakened the aquifers underneath, and worst case scenarios say the city will be nearly completely submerged by 2050. So this is really a question of emergency now. Consider that the Jakarta metropolitan region is home to 30 million people. So this is a huge effort to relocate these people. The new site, however, does not come without its own problems. It's in the middle of the jungle, which brings the issues of illegal logging, which is already a big issue there, and how they're going to deal with the numerous plant and animal species on the island. That remains to be seen.
Okay, let's turn our eyes slightly closer to home, to the Middle East, in fact. Tensions between Israel and Lebanon getting quite a lot of front-page coverage.
That's right, both in the Israeli and Lebanese press. Let's start with the Jerusalem Post. Lebanese President Michel Aoun calling the strike an act of war. Israel warning Lebanon that it will be holding it responsible for the actions of Hezbollah, any actions of Hezbollah from Lebanese territory into Israel. These tensions really, as L'Orient Le Jour, a Lebanese French-language paper, notes, pitting on one side Iran, which backs Hezbollah, and on the other side the U.S. and other Arab countries. L'Orient Le Jour, also one writer for the paper, noting that Hezbollah really finds itself in a lose-lose situation. If they do not respond to Israel, they could appear weak, but if they do respond, they couldn't predict how Israel would afterwards respond to their actions.
Okay, so we'll have to wait and see just what happens next there. Now, reaction to the G7 summit, which of course has wrapped up now. What's that been?
Well, what's interesting, Tom, is the French media, never subtle in its criticism of Emmanuel Macron, has been singing its praises. In fact, we've been hard-pressed to find one paper that doesn't see his G7 summit as a success. On the other hand, the international papers are far more scathing. One writer for the National Review, a conservative U.S. magazine, deplored the impotence of the G7 and questions what the summit even purports to do anymore. From the summit in 1975 to discuss the oil crisis to the 2008 one, which tackled the global financial crisis, it's clear that the G7 has become a, quote, political power show, a festival of diplomacy, and a field day for political cartoonists.
Okay, and next year perhaps an even more theatrical edition?
Well, if Donald Trump has his way and holds a G7 summit in his golf resort, which is something that he's apparently very keen on doing, the summit could descend into farce with, quote, Trump as circus master. The Guardian noting that Macron passed the baton on to Trump at the end of the G7 summit in Biarritz. And as he did, there was a, quote, distinct sense of the established order, i.e. Europe, being given its last rites from the old world glamour of Biarritz to the kitsch, flashy world of Donald Trump's Florida, or as the New York Times editors put it today, the G7 summit brought to you by the Trump Organization.
Okay, finally, the G7 summit is often characterized by sort of a viral movement, and the First Lady of the United States, Melania Trump, has found herself right in the middle of one of just those things.
That's right. Melania Trump has fallen into the Justin Trudeau photo trap, Tom. A picture of the First Lady appearing to almost swoon as she puckered up for a kiss on the cheek with Justin Trudeau on the weekend went viral. It's also the scenario there. You have a very grumpy-looking Donald Trump and a almost scandalized Brigitte Macron there. It gave birth to the hashtag Melania loves Trudeau, obviously bringing us a lot of reminders of the moment when back in the some months ago when Ivanka Trump appeared to swoon in front of Justin Trudeau as well. For many on Twitter, it's proof of what true love looks like, maybe true lust, you might say. Find a woman who will look at you the same way Melania looks at Trudeau, or rather the way she's not looking at Donald Trump. While another user has actually likened the picture to a Harlequin romance novel cover. Here you go, complete with the jilted companion and the dashing, dark-haired stranger.
Goodness me, the stuff they come up with. Thank you very much indeed. That was the review of the press with Deeptika Laurent. There's more of that, of course, on our website, france24.com.